Okay. Um, Man, I'm so confused on live streams because it's been so long since I've done it. Oh, and the description is like totally wrong. All right, whatever. I'm gonna wait a few minutes and hopefully I see you guys popping in. Otherwise, I'm gonna be really confused. I'm always confused on live streams. Okay. Hi. Okay, perfect. I see some chat popping in already. Hi, Ayush, I think. Yes, hi. How's it going, man? Um, Hi guys, is it free course? I mean, pretty much, but just hold on, and I've got a pretty big announcement for it. I would like to wait a little bit though. I'll just wait like 5 minutes, and hopefully everyone can pop in here, and I'll answer some quick questions. So if you guys got some rapid fire questions, I'd be super happy to answer those. Thank you, Vinod, for saying huge fan of my work. Most people, just a hi, Greg. I can't say to each of your names, but hi, everybody. You're welcome for the videos. It's what I do. I make videos, and I do enjoy it. Love from Toronto, Mohammed. It's awesome having such a global audience. Um, Obviously, lots of folks from India in particular, but pretty much everywhere, and it's absolutely fantastic. I get so excited to see like love from Turkey, love from Sweden. It's absolutely crazy, and I'm so happy to talk to you guys all today. So yeah, fire off some rapid questions here before we get going, and I'd be really happy to answer. Hopefully the chat works for that because, yeah, I need to set up my chat a little bit better. Actually, hold on. Maybe I can see. Maybe I can get something here. No, I have no idea how to do that into my program OBS. Okay, the chat seems to be working fine though. I'm basically watching my own live stream, which is really funny. Shout out, please, from shout out to India. Shout out about your name of Muhammad. What are you trying to? Are you shouting out me? I don't exactly know what you're shouting out. Um, Love from Indonesia. There you go. Yeah, like Indonesia. That's awesome. Love from Italy. Love to see it. Shakira, my name. Shout out. What are? Sorry, is your name Muhammad or Shakir? Your. It looks like your first name is Muhammad, but now you're saying Shakir. Um, I'm probably saying that wrong, by the way. Please shout out my name. Why would I? I think I've done that enough times. Do I play guitar? Yeah, I can. It's actually been a while. Not gonna lie. Let me do. This microphone is not good for like it's what's called a dynamic microphone and not a condenser microphone. And so what that means is it's really gonna pick up when I'm like talking right in front of it. But if I kind of start to go away here, like you'll notice, like you can probably even just barely hear that. So it's I'll try my best, but yeah, I'll play like a little bit of guitar. It's funny, I'm actually forgetting because I'm always working, or I'm just kind of relaxing. Love from South America. So sorry, love from South Africa. Very different. That's awesome. Is it my first stream? Oh, it seems like it. And thanks so much for being a member, by the way. I'm just going to give a little shout out there to Raf there. If you guys want that star beside your name, and I'm actually going to start to make some members only content. It's very inexpensive to be a member. I don't want to make any assumptions, but to be honest, probably most of you could afford to be a member because it's literally like $1 Canadian a month, which is less than $1 US. So it's just a way so that everyone can, help and donate whatever possible. For the stuff that I've built here, it's totally free. So if you want to upgrade and be like a member on the channel, it's very inexpensive if you want it to be. If you want to help out more, that's great. I'd absolutely love it. But do try and do that. It is really, really helpful to me. Do I like nachos? I'm not going to be answering that. I feel so lost with so many videos. Well, there's a lot of them, but I got a pathway for you, Samuel. Like this is it, man. Like this is all you really need. Hello. Yes, hello. Do I gym? Oh, of course I gym. Yeah, you want the actual flex like on the stream? I don't know if it's showing up or not. Probably did, but yeah, I just came back from the gym actually. I'm one of the best. No. I'm the best data structures and algorithm tutor. Don't you lie. Don't you lie. You know there's only the one. Actually, there's lots of people doing it. But yeah, hopefully, I mean, I got the structured pathway. As far as I'm aware of, I'm the only one that actually has this thing totally for free, and I'm going to be demonstrating it in a moment. I'm sure you guys probably already know what it is. But as far as I know, I'm the only person that actually has an ordered pathway that has both the content, so like the problems to be solved, along with the prerequisites totally for free. There's obviously other people that have like a pathway, except there's some sort of paywall somewhere. Like there's something where it's like some sort of a gotcha. There's no paywall. There's a donate button. So like if you appreciate it and if you got value from it, $1 a month, it is very, very, very helpful. A lot more helpful than you might think. But I'll love you whether you do it or not. And it's going to continue to be free. So yeah, as far as I'm aware of, I'm actually the only one that's created something like this. What kind of project right now really works for a career shifter? Well, what are you trying to shift to? Like come on, uncle. Like what shift to what? You need to do a project in something. Have I heard of Striver? I'm going to look that up, not on the browser that I am streaming with because that could be bad. Striver's software. Okay, good. It's just a YouTuber for programming. That's good. The answer is no. Looking like probably an Indian person making videos about technology, I think. I actually think I might have heard of this person, but not really. 4 days ago, okay, so I guess I can show this like on the actual browser because there's nothing wrong with this. Will the tech hiring market recover ever? Jobs reducing. Yeah, so I don't really like to make clickbait content like that where it's just like, grabbing people's attention for the sake of grabbing it. And it's not really most likely providing not that much value. I prefer to actually give content that helps you get the jobs rather than just being like, oh, the tech market is gonna, it's going crazy right now and it's getting worse and whatever. That's not very helpful. Honestly, my answer to that question, if you were to ask me, will the tech hiring market recover? I don't know if it's ever going to be in as high demand as it was, but for sure, like you're going to have tons and tons of software companies continue to open. Pretty much genuinely every single company is a software company. So if you start a company doing literally anything, you need at least a web developer, probably, like a full stack developer, probably at least some sort of generic data engineer that can, make some pipelines to get the data moving around to who it needs to get to. You need at least a few software people, like at least 2, no matter what you do. So as long as there's companies, there's going to be people doing that. And I'm going to get Striver out of here. I don't really know what he's doing. But yeah, that's my answer. Not that anyone even asked. Okay. What massive announcement am I cooking? Well, Raf, you're going to find out what I'm cooking. Honestly, it's really, you probably even saw it. If you went to my Instagram story, you've already seen it, but I'm just trying to hype it up because it is pretty good. What do I do with an interviewer who won't allow you to use STL? Does that mean standard libraries? Even just is STL that's like the C++ standard library thing, right? Is that what it is? C++ standard library. Yeah, this. I assume. Wow, what is happening? I assume this is what you're talking about. So right, containers, classes, it doesn't even have the algorithms one. Yeah, you can't really do much without that. And iterators, yeah, that's rough. Do they actually not even allow you to use the standard library? That's like rough. That's really rough. Why would they do that? How do you do anything without that? I have no idea how to approach that, not gonna lie. C++ is like enough lines to write as is, even with using the libraries. Like it's still going to be, even if you import that stuff, it's still going to be way more code than like Python or like JavaScript or something that's pretty high level. So that's odd to me. Just joined the live stream. Algo map being free is awesome. I know, right? Yep, it's pretty great. Yeah, I'm just kidding. Thank you so much. It's great of you to help a developer for giving such an organized roadmap. It's what I do, Bibik and Anurag. I'm not sure which person you are, if you're Bibik or if you're Anurag, whoever you are, or if you're both at the same time. Whether that's like both of you are there or you're mixed into one person. Thank you, Bibic and Anurag. It's what I do. Study with Me says he made the sheet as like you with proper theory and massive DSA list. Who is he? I'm guessing you're talking about something earlier. He is same as you. I don't know what you're talking about. Oh, there's so much chat that I missed. I don't actually see what you're referring to. Thanks for all your videos. Yes, you're very welcome. Big fan. Thank you very much. Highly appreciate your efforts for the awesome algo map and the concise but insightful solution videos. You're very welcome. It would be really helpful to have videos dedicated to low-level design. What is low-level design in Python? Low-level. Low-level means close to the CPU. Unless I'm going absolutely bonkers here. Low level design is a component level design process. I mean, I would assume you're talking about like low level is in close to the hardware and high level is in like what I literally just said, like high level like Python or something. So I don't know what that is. Is that a thing? Chat, like do people do low level in Python? Is that a thing? How do you even get low level in Python? Is that even possible? I'm so confused because you can't like malloc, like get memory and crap. So I'm so confused. What makes my list different from NeetCode or Strivers? Well, NeetCode stuff is paid, so that's one thing, is that if you go over to this and you get prerequisites, then it's all paid. So that's a lot better. Striver, I just found out about who that is a moment ago. What do I think is more important for a job? Is it DSA or dev skills? Oh, it's both. Yeah, the data structures and algorithms is only useful for the interview part. But if that's all you know, then, I mean, there is some companies that would give you a job anyway. Like, you know, for some reason, some of the biggest companies, that's mostly what they're looking for. But for most people, to get the interview, you're going to need to be really good at something. So, like, you'll need to be really good at how React works, at how Angular works, at how, you know, various cybersecurity things, if that's what you're into, making games and so on. I'm gonna ignore the question about me and NeetCode doing a collaboration. That's kind of funny. Hey, Greg, thank you for your ongoing effort to spread knowledge. Yes, Valentin, I spread knowledge. Thank you. You're very welcome. How do you keep up the pace of producing content on a daily basis? Well, this is my full-time gig, at least for now. I'm exploring possible opportunities, but I keep it up on a daily because this is literally how I spend my day. Like, I go to the gym, I come over here, I make content in the morning. Generally, I also make content in the afternoon, but sometimes I do some other things, like maybe code this stuff. Although, honestly, coding this didn't really take that much effort. I used ChatGPT a fair amount to make it designed well. You know, like I literally had this like raw as like just a white box, and then ChatGPT is just like, boom, I'm going to curve it, make it, you know, this cool color when you click on it and hover it up. And it even got help with the loading bars or the progress bars and stuff. Okay. What gonna make people follow your roadmap instead of NeetCode roadmap? No offense, it's free. People, it's free. NeetCodes is not free. Okay, so when you go here, let me just really seriously say it. Like people think NeetCode's roadmap is free. It's not, because when you go over here and you click his prerequisites, it links to NeetCode Pro, which is a paid course. This is a YouTube video. These are all YouTube videos. It's completely free. So that's why the only paid thing on this site is donate. If you want to donate and you found it helpful, that's great. If you don't, it's totally fine, and I will love you anyway. So that's why. It's because it's actually free, not like fake free. Great work. Thank you so much. You're very welcome. Okay, what else we got here? Do India interviewers really hate STL? Yeah, right? Do Indian interviewers really hate the standard library law? I wasn't allowed in 4+ interviews in the last 2 months. What are they doing? Yo, okay. So I'm totally down for like certain things not being allowed. Like, you know, there's a lot of things you can import to solve problems. Honestly, like half of the leet code easies you could do in like one line, at least in Python or something like that. To not allow to for firstly, if they force C++ and don't let you use the standard library, that's actually brutal. That's brutal. Low-level design is an API rate limiter. How is a rate limiter low-level design? What? That doesn't sound low-level. Parking lot system and other OOPs related programs. It's highly focused in SDE related job interview questions. I think there's like some sort of difference between how people usually talk about this, like maybe in India versus North America or something, because low-level design to me, a rate limiter does not, unless you like really do it at like the super low level of how the API is actually exchanging these things through like HTTP or JSON or whatever. Like unless you're doing it at that extremely low level, that seems odd to me. Because like a rate limiter, like I could write a rate limiter in like 2 seconds in Python or whatever. It'd just be requesting something. Like if you're making the request, you could make a request with a delay, or if you're on the receiving system, you could make sure that you ignore them if it's too much. So like, I don't understand why that needs to be low level. Search take you forward on Google. I already know what that is. Look for take you for. Oh, okay. So that's driver. Gotcha. Yeah, no problem, Shreyas. Very happy to help. Where have I been a software engineer? I don't know. Nobody. Whoa, what is with all this gifting? Whoa. Okay, how do I give you a pin or something? Akshot is like going crazy on gifting 5 memberships. That's so nice of you. Oh, well, I'm really happy to hear that, because I am going to start to make some content that, like, not too much, because I want everything to be free for most people. But I'm going to start to make some content for members only, just to encourage people to donate a little bit, because again, it's just like $1 a month or whatever. It's pretty cheap. So I want to encourage some people just to be donating a little bit. So that's really helpful. Thank you so much, Akshat, for gifting that. Why do I have to allow gifts? I could receive a gift. Okay. Well, now I just clicked a button so that I could get gifted to my own channel. I'm so confused. That's awesome. Okay, so why is everyone saying GG? because I guess you lost, or you didn't get the win. Okay, have I worked in big tech? No, but I am possibly sort of considering it. I just I don't know. It's not really my thing. I'm more so for building up my own channel, and I'm not going to say no. And firstly, like if anyone of those companies are watching, like I don't want to just say no. But for big tech, for me, it's like I'm more so focused on building up myself, and as well as, I'm also considering other opportunities. But that would also be because I really believe in certain companies on doing certain things. So maybe we'll see. It has to be worth my while, I suppose. LLD, low-level design, is for people focusing on server-related job. That's what I thought. High-level design is far more common, and I think everyone should have somewhat knowledge of it. Yeah, that's what I agree. I did not know you and Necode are at odds. No, we're not at odds. No, we're not at odds. We know each other. Hey, Greg. I'm so grateful for you. Oh, you're very welcome. I've always been dodging data structures and algorithms until my astonishing roadmap to data structures. Well, there you go. I'm really happy to hear that. Yeah, I truly think I'm the only person that actually made this free, completely free, all-encompassing pathway from start to finish, including like code examples in every language and stuff. By the way, okay, so just to kind of say this thing that I was like, massive announcement, what this is. You could have seen this on my Instagram stories for sure. But basically, this whole website here, now every video, at the end of each video, so whether it is theory-based, well, Big O is the only one that doesn't have any code, but something like static arrays, for example, this theory, it's generic, and then there's code in Python video at the end. But in the last, yesterday, I did it for the prerequisites. About a week ago, I did it for all the code. I worked really, really, really hard to make sure that there is code examples for every problem in C++, Java, JavaScript, and Python. So when you go to watch the videos, they will show you generically, and then I'll code in Python at the end. But if you use a different language, you don't have to use that. You can look up the code example in whatever language you prefer, like C++. And now, as of yesterday, I also added it for the prerequisites. So I have this whole data structures and algorithms theory course. So for anything in the fundamental DSA theory playlist, so this is basically going to be all of the stuff that is prerequisites in the different sections here. So all those prereqs, all that stuff here is also in this organized playlist. And although it is technically a DSA course in Python, every single one of these, at least wherever applicable,
happened.
Whoa, what am I
Whoa.
doing? Hey guys, Greg. Every one of these in the description now. Before it was just the Python Colab notebook. Now code solutions in Python, Java, C++, and JavaScript can be found at this whole repository here. So now the theory, so any of the theory-based stuff, that all is going to link over to, just a folder where you can go to whatever language you want. It's kind of silly how it organizes it like this, but chapters 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11, those are all the ones that have code necessary. So all of that stuff is in every language as well, okay? So back to the chat here, because I'm really enjoying this. Thanks so much, guys, for joining us. Damn, the algorithm didn't bless you. Maybe someone else will bless you. I don't know. Maybe you want to bless them. I don't know. Hey, love my content. Thank you so much. How long do you think it takes to be actually ready? Currently a mid-engineer in a startup. Well, if you're currently a mid-engineer in a startup, aren't you already ready because you already have a job? So ready for what? What are you trying to do? Most people don't, at least a lot of people don't even have a job. So I don't know what you mean. Indian code is messy. That's kind of, I don't know if that's true. Sir, I'm a student currently in final year. I completed the Python. I love that phrasing. I completed the Python. I started with NeetCode, the first question. I can't even understand the code and how to approach it. Well, then, if you're coming to my channel and you're saying I started with NeetCode and I can't even understand it, so then maybe you should try my stuff, like just an idea. I don't mean to be too cocky and say I'm the only way, but like if you're trying one thing, you come to my channel to ask what to do. Well, I have this full website to learn everything completely from scratch in every language. So like that's obviously my suggestion. Okay. Well, I got lost. Suggest any full stack projects that can, I guess I should be pinning this as I ask it because then people would know what I'm actually looking at here. Does that work? Message pin. Okay, yeah, there we go. I should have been doing that. So suggest any full stack projects that could differentiate your resume. Well, basically, you have to actually differentiate your resume. Like people have probably said this, but like my resume is differentiable. If you were to take the derivative of it, it would be continuous at, every point, and it wouldn't have too many sharp edges like that. It would be curvy, like that would be my resume. So what did I do? Like how did I differentiate my resume, or how do other people do this? Well, you have to do things that other people are not doing. And so if you were to Google a project, or you're to look up common projects, you will end up doing what everybody else does. So you have to think outside the box and and in the process of that, you will actually likely make some sort of money somehow, like through social media, where you build up solutions on YouTube, or you make a website that someone hasn't made before, or you make it better, or different in some sort of way. So it's it's frustrating when people just say like, what project can differentiate your resume? Any answer to that, any actual answer to that, to truly do it correctly, is something new. And so I can't just tell you. If I told you, I'd be making something that I'd either be grabbing something that people have already made, or I would be giving you an idea that, I probably plan on in the future, because I, obviously have some ideas. So trust me, do things that other people are not doing. Yeah, you're very welcome. You're very welcome. Hey man, continue with your good walk. I love this. Continue with my good walk, especially my DSA and Python series. Yes, no problem. And then you change it to work. Yeah, that's true. Okay. Roadmap to Spring Boot. I am not knowledgeable enough to tell you that. That's not really my area. Um, if I'm decent at JavaScript frameworks like React, React Native, Node, but kind of suck at data structures and algorithms, what are my chances of being hired right now in Ontario, Canada? Well, I'm in Ontario, Canada, and I mean, I know why you can't get a job. It's because the job market in Ontario, Canada is really not that good right now. Um, so that's definitely a problem. I know some pretty smart people. In fact, I went to. I'm sure you've obviously, if you're in Ontario, you've probably heard of the University of Waterloo. That's where I got my degree. That's where I did my co-ops or my internships and whatever. And it used to be not that hard to get those co-ops back then. Like as long as you did like some sort of coding stuff, like as long as you wrote some sort of code on your own, you could get them. But now it's getting kind of tricky. Like I was talking to some pretty smart people that are going through the program right now, and they were not getting jobs. So partly it is the market, but blaming the market, as everybody knows, obviously that provides no help whatsoever. If that makes you feel less bad, then great, but it still doesn't really do any action. So, well, React Native, and Node is still a great thing to do. Like I think that's one of the best things, not necessarily growing. It might not necessarily be like rapidly increasing the number of jobs available. It at least is going to have a steady supply, until that ever changes. And I'm not sure if that is going to change because people love JavaScript I don't know, because people I don't know. People hate JavaScript, but also there's a new JavaScript framework every morning. So like, I'm going to say that they love it because clearly they at least want to use it, or have to use it. I guess it's just more so have to use it, but anyways, it's a great set of technologies, and I don't think that's going away anytime soon. For data structures and algorithms, you need to suck at that less. Obviously, like if you're saying you suck at it, well, you need to not suck. And so if you want to not suck, well, completely for free, I've got this website for you, algomap.io. Go to it, learn everything. The main thing that most people don't do is they see a problem and then they try to do it. Okay, find closest number to 0. This is the code that I came up with. And if they weren't able to come up with that solution, they would basically just be like, bruh, I'm stupid. I don't know how to do this. I'll never learn, and give up. But something a million times better than that, which very few people do, is just be like, okay, I don't know how to do this. I will either look at code and try to understand it and replicate it on my own. Or if it's something more complicated, so say something like, graphs, like something like a topological sort. This is a very visual thing. And so if you don't know how to do this, then, you should learn. And so just learn. Just watch the video. Just watch as much as you have to. Like watch the first minute and be like, oh, I get it. I kind of get how to set that up now. Or if you really don't get it, watch the whole thing. And sometimes even if you get it, you still want to watch and understand the whole thing because maybe you like do something a little better than the way that you were doing it. So just learn it. Just like seriously, stop treating it as, and there's no way that I am calling these things like practice problems. Okay, some people call these practice problems. No, they're problems. Like they're things to solve, and if you can't solve it, you need to learn it. Okay, it's not just practicing. No one's gonna know how to do this stuff. No one's gonna know without doing like a ton of graph problems. You're not going to know how to do like a Dijkstra's algorithm. Like how are you going to randomly come up with that? You're just not. And so you're going to watch the video. That's how you would solve that problem. Okay. This is a roadmap for dev. So there's a partner website. No, I shouldn't say partner. There's a website. I have no association with it whatsoever, called roadmap.sh. Pretty much whatever you want to do, they have an organized way on learning those things. So I can't just give you a roadmap on how to become a developer because, it depends on what you want to do. Obviously, there's a ton of you should probably learn HTML, CSS, and JavaScript no matter what you want to do, like just at least a little bit of it so that you can make an application, because then if you do learn those tools, you can use them to make pretty much anything you want, because even React Native or whatever, you can make web apps and mobile apps with that. So you get pretty much everything. But yeah, that website's pretty good for that if you didn't already know. You're very welcome for the help. Do I plan to post DSA on Java? Let me just make this completely clear here. I everything here has code solutions in Java. So you don't need me to read out the code to you. Like, you don't need me to line by line talk about the code. You can just read it. So if you want to know something in Java, if you're trying to solve merge strings alternately in Java, just go over here, read the Java solution, and there you go. That's the code. And so you don't really need me to just say, int a, we're going to make an integer a with the word length and an integer b. Like, I do that in Python, but you really don't need me to do that in every language, and that's going to be way too slow. I'm probably not going to do that. Do I work is a funny question. I think the answer is no. I mean, I'm not currently in 2024, and actually all of 2023, I pulled in $0 of employment income. And that's even because I even have an incorporation and I'm technically an employee of that incorporation, but I took a salary of zero. So even under my own corporation, I got zero. Of course, my own income myself, I would be called self-employed. But in most people's circumstance, no, I don't have like a job for another company. Currently, I may work with some others though, if it is worth it. And it might be. You might see something interesting coming up. Let's go. Got membership. Yeah, you got membership, Uncle. That was really nice of, was it Akshat? Yeah, Akshat. Thank you so much for doing that again. It's really kind of you to do that. Any hackathon suggestion? Do you mean a particular hackathon? Do you mean an idea for a generic hackathon? Yeah, I don't really know what you mean there. Man, your shorts arrived like a miracle out of nowhere, and now my feed is freed from brain rot. Yeah, that's the idea, man. Like, it's, you're scrolling through, and this is me. Like, there's a few channels, very small number of channels that come into my shorts feed that I'm like, thank you, algorithm, for actually showing me, because like everybody else in the world, I get absorbed in some crap, like I look at my phone and I start scrolling through and I see some stuff and I just, I don't do it for as long as most people do, but I still get sucked into it a little bit every now and then. So yeah, I'm really happy to hopefully just kind of, and I'm getting a lot better at the first 3 seconds. As you guys have probably noticed, I often use yellow background with like black text in the front. That has really helped for pulling people in the beginning. A lot of the time my videos have high retention, so like a lot of people, when they start to get into it, they generally watch for like a long time, like 40-50 seconds, which is really good for a short. I watch some magicians on there that post like 5-second videos, so getting people to watch for 50 seconds is really good. I did get a lot better at the first few seconds, which is very important for the algorithms. YouTube in particular, it actually has a metric for that, like how many people watched the video. That doesn't mean watch to the end. It means like how many people, thought about like, giving this thing a go, basically, rather than just flipping off immediately. So anyways, I'm very happy to help. Can I explain the code logic C++ as well? No, that's just going to take too much time to explain, to go through and talk about all the languages. I just can't. I simply can't. Hi, Greg. Do I still think the Google Analytics... This is a good question. Do I still think the Google Analytics course is still relevant and can it help with recruitment? I'm fairly good at Python. It's an R. Should I just go with advanced because directly? So R is just... I've said this a few years ago, like when I started YouTube like 3 years ago, and people were getting so mad at me for saying, oh, R is like great at statistics and data science or whatever. I'm like, but it's not sustainable. Like in the future, Python is obviously going to be continued to be used, and R, like, and it can do everything that R can do, and it's not really, the speed comparison is not that much different. So like, I don't know why people think R is a good idea. No, I wouldn't really recommend doing anything with R. The certification, it does help a little bit, and people appreciate that, but not that much. You're very welcome. Korean dude. I'm guessing you're a Korean dude. You got Ash Ketchum there. I'm a big Pokemon fan. Give me your Instagram link. I need to stalk you. Can you not search it? Like, let me see. I'll go to incognito so that, like, it has no recollection of my search history. If I type literally my name, so not even Instagram, you have the third option there. If you type Instagram, obviously, wait, is that the first thing? Greg Hug lead code? How many times have people typed that? I didn't even know people cared about my lead code profile, but that's interesting. Obituary. I'm dead? Uh-oh. Oh, that's not good. Oh, that's me. Is that how I'm going to look? Greg and I have been friends in high school since 1971. Man, I'm older than I thought. What's the announcement? It's basically this. I had a job, not the dead thing, the algomap thing. You had a job, but seems to be poor in data structures and algorithms. Get better, like people. It's just honestly, like, I sucked at it a while ago too, and then I just learned all of it, and then just sat down and learned it. And so I have a completely free way to do that. So just do it. What do I think about side projects? I think they are less relevant than they used to unless you do something very narrow. So it's very, very important right now to be very good at something in particular, but it's less important to just kind of make a bunch of generic side projects because kind of everyone's doing that. So I don't like to think about them as side projects. I like to think of them just kind of like things that you are passionate about, and so you are doing them. The term project, like, it kind of bugs me because it makes me think that most people, like a lot of people doing them, are just doing them to kind of put something on your resume, and so you'll do like the bare minimum and it won't actually be good. Whereas like, this website, it doesn't look absolutely fantastic. Like, it could be way more. Like, I was on this website today for considering doing some things. Very, very specific. I was doing things, yeah. And I was like, there's so much going on here, and you can scroll through it. Like, it looks insane. Obviously, way more built up. But, like, the main thing is that can it, like, do something? Like, is it actually helpful? And so, while this doesn't look absolutely fantastic, like, it looks good enough. Like, if you open a section, it looks pretty good. But it helps people. So number one for side projects, try to help people. Try to make stuff where people can find it useful. And then maybe one day you may want to charge for that, but you don't really have to do that because you can just make it free, and that's probably going to help in the long term more, unless you have some really good idea. Do I have a systematic playlist? Yes, I do. So like, these questions are interesting to me. Do I have a systematic playlist for you to try and learn? If you mean data structures, if you mean data structures, obviously the thing that's on the page. If you mean for a generic developer, I have some things. Not everything, because there's pretty much infinite things. I asked a question in the Discord server. Sorry, my attention to the Discord server has been poor recently. I'm sorry, Ahmad. I had asked a question in the Discord server, but they said it was not clear enough. Can you give me pieces of advice on how to ask clearly in a programming forum? Be succinct and be very kind. So a lot of people, they message me on Instagram, and it's like, yo, solve this problem. I'm like, I have no desire to solve your problem. Like, I would love to help in any way I can, but like, not if you talk like that. Like, if you just say like, do this thing. So be like, hey guys, really appreciate any attention to this. Super succinctly, you should give the problem. So if it's just like a link, preferably if you have just like a link to the problem, that's much preferred than just like, pasting this massive thing. People, it's really funny. Like, I'll get YouTube comments where people just copy and paste the entire problem description, and then at the end, they'll just be like, solve this. I'm like, I'm not going to solve that. Like, what are you doing? So just kindness and succinctness, I would say, is the main things there. Is college DSA enough for coding interviews? No, it's not. So it's close. College data structures and algorithms. So generally it's 2 courses, not always, but generally it's 2 courses, one for data structures, one for algorithms on those data structures. So generally data structures would be like kind of a prerequisite. So they'll cover most things. In fact, in some things they'll cover in more detail. Like for example, most people in practice on leak code only talk about big O, but they'll talk about things like big theta and big omega and whatever. So some things, particularly the theory things, they'll get even more in depth. But they do kind of miss some things that come up a lot in coding interviews, which are the more weird algorithm ones. Like, for example, two pointers. They might not even bring that up at all. Sliding window is the best example, which is like this is a very elite code, aka coding interview like thing. And it's not really something they're going to talk about in a data structures and algorithms course. They might if you have a good teacher that's kind of up to date with the modern coding interviews, but most likely you won't. Should you learn Python or C++ in leak code? So basically the answer to this question is if you want to make a solution that is as fast as possible and runs super fast for for competitions or to impress certain companies if they are into that. So like something like NVIDIA, obviously they would prefer like C++ because they interact with the GPU and it's a very low level thing. If that is your thing, then you should do C++. Otherwise, if you are in general looking for some sort of a job in anything, so probably high level, JavaScript, Python, generic programming languages like Java, you probably are best off doing it in Python, which is why I have this playlist here. The video parts are in Python. Of course, I have code solutions and everything. But you probably want to do it in Python because it's just a lot easier. So for example, like let me just take a complete guess here, which is something like graphs. So if I were to go and look up number of islands, so I'll look up the number of, actually I really like the max area of island solution. So Python has 19 lines of code. Okay, the Python solution is 19 lines, and this C++, like, maybe this could have been done in a better way, but this is a lot. Okay, so it's twice as much basically. So because of that, and even the code itself, like even though of course lines of code is annoying because you'd rather do it in less lines of code, C++ are also harder lines of code because you have to think about the pointers, and it's just in general looping through things is just not as easy. You can do a lot of short forms in Python, so I prefer Python for sure. Greg, how hard can I riz up a recruiter? Yeah, that's the goal. You got to riz them up by showing a working game engine with NVIDIA physics integration for physics. It sounds like you're advertising it to me, which is pretty funny. Pure raw C++ goodness with DirectX. It's for dude. You rizzed me up for this so much, Satyam. Like this is just. You know what? I feel rizzed for your game engine. I think you should say it just like that. That's really good. Someone said get a degree. yeah, that's probably a good idea. Okay, so yeah, referring to the Waterloo stuff from earlier, your girlfriend graduated from there. Cool. I totally know them. Totally. If you were really good, solve a medium problem now. I'm good. I mean, I could solve any of them that are on here because I've already done that. A bunch of the mediums that would take, some of them could be pretty hard. I'm not going to really sit there and struggle on the stream with that. Do I plan on doing any competitive programming videos? Especially, what is this? Especially if they involve data structures and algorithms. Like competitive programming is almost synonymous to data structures and algorithms. Basically, the difference is that competitive programming, you want to optimize for speed. Data structures and algorithms, you just, it's in any programming language, you're trying to get like the best big O complexity, basically. And so they both indirectly optimized for speed, but one is like competitive programming is like really like for milliseconds basically, and not really like I'm happy with the lead code problems. They're competitive programming enough for me. Okay, yes, you have a degree. The response: I have a degree and am jobless and am applying for it. That's funny. Okay, so I'm sorry, that's really insensitive. I shouldn't say I'm jobless. I just mean like in terms of like the little the conversation that was happening around it is funny. It's not funny to be jobless. I really hope to be trying my best to be helping you guys with that. I apologize if that was insensitive. Um, Humber College, yeah, it's like okay, yeah, yeah, that's okay. Now I'm following it up with colleges. Yeah, that's funny. Okay, so hey Greg, thanks for your site. You're welcome, Johnny. So you're going to take a look at it? Yeah, please do it. I was thinking about taking a Coursera class. Nah. No, you got this whole thing right here completely for free. It's got solutions in the theory and problems in all languages. I would strongly recommend this over the Coursera one. This is a lot better. I know because I've taken it and know people that have taken it, and it's not even rated that well on Coursera, so would not recommend it. I mean, I would recommend it, but I mean, it's not bad, but I would prefer what I've already done. Kalish, so sorry, it takes a second to pin it. Hey, I'm a college student in first year. You know, Java, that's a good language. What should I do in order to get a job at Fang? I'm currently learning DSA and watching Java tutorials and planning to learn Spring. So you should do this pathway in Java, and that's fine. If you like Java, a lot of companies do. I think it's the most disgusting thing on the screen that I've ever seen in my life. Like, it is actually really bothering me, man. Like, looking at some of these solutions. Let me think of, say, one of the bigger ones. Like, say, rotting oranges. It's like there's a lot of code for rotting oranges here. So the Java solution, like, I don't know how people read these loops here. Like with this is well written Java code. Like this is well written. You have your for loop and then another for loop, and then in that you have an if statement. That's just 3 nesting. I guess you're in a while loop over here. So while loop, for loop, if. It just like, man, I don't know how you Java developers do this. It just drives me crazy, and everything has to be in a public class. Like, why? It's okay. I'm off complaining about Java, but you should do this pathway in Java if that's what you want to do. Can I tell how knowing to work? What is this question? This has some interesting wording. Can I tell how knowing how to work with AI can be a plus factor for software development engineer? Well, I mean, so firstly, obviously, you need to know how to use ChatGPT and Llama and Claude and stuff like that, because like I use it, and your company may or may not allow you to use it, but I think it's tremendously helpful. And I mean, being able to use the APIs, like from OpenAI, for example, is extremely helpful. I end up writing a lot of programs that end up using ChatGPT to like the API to ping that and then get a response from that and then work with that. So in general, that's pretty useful. In terms of fine tuning and stuff like that, you'll hear the word fine tuning. Most of the time, that's better off for machine learning developers, but you could do that if you need to. What's up with these donations? So thank you, Jay from the Goonies, for joining. I really appreciate that. And John Doe with the 5 something donation. I don't know even what that currency is. Is it euros? I always forget the ones that are like the European ones that look like euros, but also there's the stuff like pounds and francs and stuff. Do people use francs anymore? I don't even know. But thank you so much for whatever currency that is. I will appreciate it when I figure that out, and I'll probably read about it in a moment. Yeah, again, a quick reminder, guys, if you are able to just become a member to donate even just $1 a month towards AlgoMap here, it is completely free. It does run on donations. I really, really, really appreciate it. It means a lot. You get a star beside your name. You get the videos that I'm going to be making about members only, basically. I'm going to make one very important video for members only. So if you are considering it, I will make one video at least that is really particularly going to be targeted at members only, which is, again, minimum just $1 a month, which is going to be basically how to get the most out of this site, tips and tricks on how to do really well on learning data structures and algorithms. This has all the content, and if you just go and learn it, then it's all going to be there. But if you do want to see my video on explaining kind of what this is, how you can go and navigate this, how you can learn data structures and algorithms the right way and not the wrong way. I've tutored a lot of people now. I haven't done it in a little bit. I'm not tutoring too much at this very moment, but I've done a lot of tutoring, and I know that people are not doing it the right way. And even in this site, I message some of you guys and ask if you've been using it, and I have a chit chat, and I find that a lot of people are not learning it the right way. So to encourage people to be members, which again is just a minimum $1 a month, you can, I'll give you a video on how I can really explain how to do this the best way. So if you want to see that video, become a member right now. If you were awesome like Akshat was, you can do some gifting, which is just absolutely fantastic. But again, I apologize. I don't really mean to talk about like donating and stuff. But this site, like it is completely and entirely free. So if you can help out, it seriously would mean a lot. Okay, so while that happened, Satyam became a member. Thank you so much. And yeah, Jay from the Goonies, a member as well. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it, guys. I hope to see more of you doing the same thing. Okay. Kalish, yes, I already responded to that one. Can I tell how, the AI one. Yeah. Okay, here we go. So stuff like this. I literally stare at a problem for 3 hours. I would not recommend doing that. Like, I seriously, I'm not going to say it again, but please try and watch the video that's going to be for members only about how to get the best out of learning this stuff the right way. It's going to be like, aside from the $1 a month, it's completely free. So I really strongly recommend you check that out, because there's a lot of people out here like Ryan that are spending 3 hours to just stare at problems, and that's just one piece of the puzzle is the amount of time you should be spending on this stuff. That's one of the questions I'm going to answer for sure. And thank you. The most generic name. I love it. John Doe. Thank you so much, John. I really appreciate it. It means a lot. Is game engineer great phrasing too? Is game engineer make more money than software engineer? That's a great question. I love the phrasing. So honestly, they might. And firstly, as game engineers are software engineers. But if you mean software engineer as like a full stack developer, some of the game developers make a ton of money, and they're very, very, very skilled in their craft. And I think it's one of the most fun things you can do. And I was actually thinking about this recently, which is, because I play a lot of video games, which is that I feel like video games are something that really AI is just not going to be able to like really take over that much. Like some companies will use it a little bit, possibly a lot. It might become a big industry, like generative AI in games for sure. But the head of Nintendo said recently that they're not going to do any generative AI and stuff in their games because it's just very inauthentic. And so it's so storytelling based. Like these games have very good stories, and even if you're one to like skip the story, like I usually am, like I hold B to like, progress through the story and skip it. Even that, like just the details on the characters, you can feel the story through like how the characters are looking and the maps that they're moving through. And so a lot of this stuff, I do feel like game development is a great industry to get into right now. And especially Unreal Engine. A lot of you guys are Indian, and C++ is very common in in India for the data structures and algorithms interviews. It would be great if you're learning C++ to do the data structures stuff, and from that, it allows you to use Unreal Engine, which most people, when they look up game development, they don't know that it's C++, and then they quickly find this out, and it can be a real headache. And they often switch to Unity, and Unity is just not as good. Whenever I load up a game that's like shows the Unity logo, I'm like, oh man, that's just not going to be as good. And when I see the Unreal logo, I'm like, okay, good, this is going to be something good. And it's correct, like 99% of the time. Like, or if there's like a custom great game engine, like like for Call of Duty and stuff like that, of course. While that happened there, Guillerme is probably how you say that name. Guillerme Zanin, I guess. Zanin became a member. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. The support honestly means an absolute ton to me. So thank you so much for doing that. Okay, we'll keep it going. Good morning. Yes, good morning, Arnab. Good morning. Please make long videos and really. Okay. You're trying to infuriate me here. Please make long videos and explain deeply for beginners. In what? Like, I've made all of these videos are like basically 10 minutes minimum for the most part, and all of the theory. Some of them go on for like an hour. Like the tree one here, the tree video, binary trees and binary search trees here. This one, I need to get through this ad here. My ads are only Adobe, by the way, because like I do so much video editing and stuff like that
over
for
here.
posting. This one is 40 minutes where I go through binary trees, array representation, heights, DFS, all sorts of different traversals, BFS, DFS, all that stuff. I mean, you can see it right here in the timeline. So like, what do you mean? What does it mean just to please make a long video and explain for beginners? Firstly, in what? And secondly, I'm pretty sure I've done that in a lot of different things. So I don't know what you mean. Greg, I saw the word Greg. Unsurprising because it is my name, but I'm just scrolling down and lost what I was looking for. It's euros. Okay, thank you so much. 5 euros. Thank you so much. I really, really appreciate it. Awesome, Johnny. Hey, Greg, I am able to find... Oh, yes, this is a good question. Okay, this is good. Hey, Greg, I'm able to find a brute force solution pretty easily, but I'm having difficulties with optimizing it. So this is where you go and utilize the videos or other code solutions, okay? So it is really good practice, and I'll give you a hint as to how I would make this video I'm describing about how to, get better at this stuff and how to get the most out of this website and learn DSA in the best way. So one of the things is definitely, of course, trying the problem on your own. So you should, well, here's the code, so that'd be pretty easy. But you should look at the problem, try to figure it out, and then if you can get a solution, that's great. But as you know, you might find just the brute force solution. So obviously the most common one for this would be, do I not have twosum? Oh, twosum's going to be on the hash map section. So twosum. This is, man, I'm not used to looking at JavaScript code. Throw new error. Why would you? That's a weird thing to do. So most people with twosum would come up with the brute force solution where you loop through all pairs of integers and you find one that sums up to the target, of course. And then that's all you know how to do, and you don't know how to get better at that. And so that's fine. That's where you look up the solution. You thought about the problem, you came up with a solution, and you literally don't know what you don't know. Like you're not going to magically come up with the idea that you should use a hash map to basically store all these numbers in here so you can look up the complement. Like, you're probably not going to come up with that. I mean, you can, lots of people do. I just mean, like, if you're staring at it for 2 hours, another hour is probably not going to cause you to come up with the hash map solution. Why wouldn't you just look it up and understand it? So if you do that enough times, if you do that with, solve jewels and stones the brute force way, figure out that you should use a hash set by looking up the solution either with the code or either with the video or with the code. Contains duplicate. You go and solve it by basically the brute force solution where you would kind of loop through in a nested way. You don't know how to do it better. Okay, hash set. And then you go through these enough times and you'll figure out how to do these things. And so by the time you get to something like group anagrams, maybe you'll think, hey, I used a hash set or hash map for all of these because they're in the hash map section. How could I try and optimize this? Well, of course, you would use a hash map. So the more you do that technique of just learn it or try it and then try and solve it with the brute force, and then if you don't know, look up and understand the better solution, the more you will just be able to do that in the future. So if you do that 5-6 times here, there's a much, much higher likelihood that when you get to valid Sudoku, you'd be like, okay, I can see that I could check for basically the presence of presence of like duplicate numbers or missing a number. Oh, that's not this problem. It would be checking for duplicate numbers. You could do that through a brute force way, or more likely, you've used a hash set or hash map several times here. You'd probably figure out that you should use some sort of a set to see if it's in the set or not. While that happened, this is awesome. Every time I explain something and go back, someone becomes a member. So guys, you're being awesome today. I don't know what's up with the chain of everyone being members today. Thank you so much. I really, 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 really appreciate it. It seriously means a lot, and it helps me. It helps me run this website because it loses money without the donations. It costs money to keep it going. So thank you so much. And by the way, all money, it goes straight back into just basically this website. It basically funnels to Google Cloud so that I can actually keep this running. So thank you, Itams. I don't really know how to say that. Itams. Thank you so much. It really, really means a lot and helps a lot more than you know. Eagle Facts. I missed that one. Oh no. Okay. Have I ever applied for a FANG company? Yeah. I've interviewed with them. It's not really something I'm targeting right now. I'm targeting how to help other people do that, and less so about it myself. Greg, do I watch Danny Gonzalez? He sells merch for you, for me. What? Do you mean you as like he sells merch for you? Let me just put this one up here. Do you mean sells merch for you as in like a general person, like he sells merch for you, or do you mean like he sells merch particularly for me? I'm kind of scared to look up this on the tab that I'm streaming, but let me just give this a go. He's a YouTuber with followers. Okay. Yes, I don't think there's anything to do with me. No, there's not. Why does Danny Gonzalez call me Greg? That's a great question. Bob Hogg. What? I don't know what you're talking about, not gonna lie. Do I recommend learn? No. I don't. Okay. Ryan, do I recommend learning 2 languages at the same time? I strongly do not. Especially in today's society, which is that you need to be very good at one thing. And so it used to be cool and trendy, right? To like have it on your resume where it's like, I'm a master at Python, or maybe like those ratings things where it's like, I'm 4 out of 5 stars in Python, but I'm only a 3.5 in Java, but luckily I'm a 5 in JavaScript and Node and whatever. Like that used to be a thing. But honestly, it's not really a thing anymore, because like people still do that and people still have it on their resume. But it's with the job market, it's so much more about being good at one particular thing. And I know that might be boring. Like it's like, oh, I don't want to just like do one thing. Okay, that's fine. You can still do other things. But for the most part, if you're applying for a role, companies are they have a lot of applicants, and so they want to pick someone that is particularly good at the thing that they're trying to do. Like if you are an employer and you make a role for someone that does Node and React, for example, the classic combo, like they don't care that you're good at Python or that you know AWS and GCP and Azure at the same time. Like if they're using GCP, they don't really care. They want to see if you're good at the things that they're trying to do. And especially in the interview stage, they will be grilling you about the technical components, not like the syntax of like, can you do for loops and whatever. They'll do that in the data structures and algorithms part. But in sort of those behavioral interviews, they'll really grill you about particular things. So from the job application point of view, not really. Do I recommend learning 2 languages at the same time for data structures and algorithms? Definitely not as well. Okay, so all of this stuff here, it's very language specific. And of course, like if you look at the solutions, of course, they look similar. Like if you look at the C++ solution, it looks like we have some initialization with some while loops and a return. That's going to look the same as my Python code here. We have some initialization, some while loops, and a return. Okay, so it's the same high level idea here. But all of it is extremely different. Like the way that you do the loops with colons is different. There's no curly braces in this. We can write cool stuff like on one line in Python, like a comma b is this comma that. There's the way that you initialize dynamic arrays is very different, and so you need to get comfortable in the way that your language is doing it, because in data structures and algorithms problems, at least in North America, most common languages are going to be fine. From what I've heard, in India, it's kind of more common for Java and C++. For whatever reason, I guess they're more raw. I don't really know. And I guess it's more of like just a competitive programming aspect to it. I'm not quite sure why. Yeah, like you really need to just do this in one language. Like there's no reason, unless you're purposely trying to learn another language, you should just tackle this by looking at the problem, solving it in one language, picking one, solving it. Make sure that you pick a good language to begin with. So please make it, I shouldn't necessarily say this. You most likely want to pick Python, Java, or C++, I would say. JavaScript, obviously there's so many JavaScript developers and people are going to do that, but it is there's some things in it that get a little iffy. So I'm not sure if you want to do it in JavaScript all the way, but you can, and it would still work fine. I would strongly recommend doing it in Python, but I know a lot of you still listening are going to do Java and C++, either because you have to or because you want to, or it's because you've been doing it. And those are fine options as well. But just pick one language, like just pick one. I will cover this over and over again until people get it. Why do I say neat code is not enough? Neat code is missing everything. Okay, neat code has a problem checklist where similarly you go and you check off problems. But 99% of people are not completely knowledgeable of how to do these things, generic things, in the programming language. So, do you know Big O and how to use static arrays? Not there isn't static arrays, but do you have a knowledge of static arrays and how that relates to dynamic arrays and the time complexity? Can you do that in the programming language of interest? Hash maps and hash sets, do you know how to do that in your programming language? Two pointers, stacks, linked list, it goes through all of this stuff. Unless you already know how to do all of this stuff, and for trees, for example, there's a ton of stuff here. Like there's so much stuff for trees. There's in order, pre-order, post-order traversal. Those are DFSs. There's breadth first search. There's multiple different ways to do DFS, like through a stack or through recursion. And so all that stuff here, all those prerequisites, they link to a paid course in NeetCode. So NeetCode is, quote, not enough because it's not anything. Like you have problem solutions, and that's great. It's really good, and I'm not trying to be rude. It's really great. It's a great website, but it doesn't have the theory in a free way. And so that's why this is better in my strong opinion, and you're welcome to disagree, but I strongly believe that. Okay, let's see here. What do I think some mistakes beginner and intermediates do while learning data science and machine learning to work in industry? Most people don't have as strong a grasp on the theory as you really need here. And so, like, to be honest, if you're going to be like a web developer, do you really need to know exactly how bytes are transmitted over HTTP? Not really. But if you're going to be doing machine learning, you have to know how models get trained, and there's a lot of different models that there is from, obviously there's different categories like supervised, unsupervised reinforcement learning. There's branches like computer vision versus, no one really uses the term natural language processing anymore, but, LLMs, of course, has really taken that over. And there's a lot of theory to be learned, and I have a lot of it on my channel. Coursera is really good for data science and machine learning stuff. The Andrew Ng stuff is actually really quite good. So most people just don't have enough of the theory. There's a really nice book that is called Introduction to Statistical Learning. I think there's even a Python version to this now with applications in Python. Yeah. So they've updated this to be what is probably scikit-learn, if I had to guess. And that's really good. So learn the theory as much as you can is my strong opinion there. Hi. Guillerme, who recently became a member, I believe. Thank you so much. Hey, Greg, I recently got laid off. Software engineer, sorry to hear that. And had to start preparing for technical interviews again. My content has been helping me tons. Thanks a lot. You're very welcome. I'm really glad to hear that. Thank you so much for the donations. It means a lot. Thank you so much. I'm trying to practice for a meta interview. How can I tell if I'm ready for it? Currently around 300 lead code questions. So you're ready? I've also done about 300 leak code questions there, Pan, and I think that's enough. I felt like maybe around 75 to 90 in various categories. I felt like I really knew what I was doing. After another couple hundred or so, I felt like I really, really knew what I was doing. So I'm pretty sure you're ready. But just make sure that you've covered all the categories that are there. I have, the vast majority of them here. There's kind of endless categories. Like if you truly go into categories in Leak Code, you'll see that there's like all of this different stuff here. Brain teaser, what is that? Apparently I've solved one called Nim Game. There's a heap of stones. We alternate. Interesting. I don't know. There's a lot of different categories, to be honest, but you'll find it out. Okay, Greg, what about all other tops? What is topics? Greg, what about all other topics like TDD, reliability, and stuff? What is TDD? I don't know what that is. TDD in Python. That. Yes, test-driven development. So I've never really, obviously, as you've probably just seen, I've never made any content on that stuff. But I'm sure there's channels that do, so I'm not sure. Add some right. Okay, so let me talk about this one, Eagle Facts. So add some maths and bit manipulation concepts to the DSA playlist. I may add the bit manipulation stuff. I think they're really stupid and they're just such dumb questions, like to cleverly use an XOR. It's just very annoying to me. And so companies do occasionally ask these questions, so I should probably do it. I'm probably not. I might add it as a bonus section as AlgoMap.io, but it's just... they're not very popular coding questions. On Neat Code, it's kind of the bottom and it's kind of hidden away because it's kind of stupid and weird. Math questions, I do actually have those, and for the most part, they're just array and string questions. So I have product of array except self is basically a math question. Merge intervals there's an intervals. Some people take intervals as a whole category. I don't think that's necessary. Spiral matrix and rotate image are the main two for the math stuff there. I may add some more math problems to my section as well. But I think in terms of categories, I don't think you really need a particularly math-based one. And bit manipulation, I might consider it. What's the open source what? Hey, Greg, what is the open source you are contributing to recently? Well, mainly open source means free and available. And so it would be this. This took the last year? 10 months. This took the last 10 months of time. In fact, you can actually see it if you scroll back here. And that's not including, of course, all of the shorts content, which is probably why you guys are here. Like if you scroll all the way back through the bottom of my Leak Code problems, I've been doing this apparently since, here you go. The first one for some reason was binary search 7 months ago. Okay, so I guess it was about 8 months ago. Yeah, so for the last 8 months, I've been doing this with short content, a lot of editing the short content to make sure that's good. Okay, man, I'm really going around the questions here. I'm definitely not reading this in the correct order. Okay, I am gonna give some preference to the members, the people that have joined memberships to answer the questions here. I think that's well deserved. So if you do want me to answer your question and kind of like a guaranteed, I shouldn't say guaranteed response, but much higher likelihood response that I likelihood that I give a response, you should consider becoming a member so that I can get attention to it. It gives a little star there so I can see it. For maths, go for 3 blue, 1 brown. Totally agree. Okay, I totally agree with this. For maths, go to 3 blue, 1 brown, Khan Academy. I've never heard of Freya Homer. 3 blue has short ones. He does. But really good. Khan Academy is awesome. It is. If you're looking to get in proper syllabus, Freya, I've never heard of, although it focuses on games. Yes, those are, if you are looking for math, totally agree. I would add Coursera. So Coursera for machine learning, which is a lot of math, would highly recommend. What else we got here? What do I enjoy about software? This is a good question. I get a little fun out of this too. What do I enjoy about software? That's what I should work on. Oh, sorry. That's for Kalish. Yes, that's exactly right. That's basically exactly what I said. Like, if you want to build a project, generally, please don't build a project with the goal of like just improving your resume. Like, of course, you can have that in the background, and if you're trying to get a job, like I get it. Like, you're trying to improve your resume to build up your credibility and get an interview. I get that. That's totally fine. But please do it in a way where you're doing something that's really interesting to you. Like, there's so much stuff about software that is actually really cool. For a while, for me, it was data science and machine learning extremely drove me. I'm still interested in it now, and I still very much, and I might go back to it. Not that I really left it, but I might put more focus on it very shortly. I know that's going to excite a lot of people. It probably will happen at some point, guys. I know a lot of people have been requesting that. Yeah, what do you enjoy about software? If I had free time right now, and of course I have whatever time I want to put stuff into, but it's been this, and I want to keep doing that for now. If I had more time and I was just like looking to like spend my time on software stuff, man, game development would be so much fun to me. Like, to actually learn how to properly make great games using C++, Unreal, and some like animator like Blender or something like that would just be so much fun to me. Something that really drove me for a while, and I have done this. Like, I have used Unreal and Unity. I really love like old Zelda games or something like that. So like the first Zelda game from like, the early 80s or whatever. The fact that I think they only had 2 developers on that is just absolutely insane. I don't know how they do that. But then what people are doing, like something that really drives me, and I hope that this maybe interests you as well, is something like in Unreal Engine, Ocarina of Time. Okay, so if you don't know, like Ocarina of Time is one of the most defining video games of all time. It was like the first 3D Zelda game. It was the inspiration for so many other things, and Nintendo was really founding in all of this stuff. It probably wasn't the first 3D game. It was Nintendo's first like 3D. Super Mario 64 and Ocarina of Time together. But yeah, stuff like this.
A long time ago, businesses became digitally fragmented and boomy.
Okay, so like it just looks. Wait, is that the new one? That really does not look as good as I was expecting it to. Let me see something else. Yeah, so like this game right here, it looks so cool, and it looks a little blurry. I think it's just loading or something. But like comparing this to the original game is just absolutely fantastic to me. Like, I can't believe people are doing this, and you can absolutely do stuff like this. Like, you just remember how the initial games looked, and then you just go up and code this yourself. You make all the visuals in like Blender or something. I don't know what the most up-to-date animation tools are, but something like that. You learn C++ really well. You'll learn all aspects of kind of making a product, which is like marketing and making content about that. And, you can make a small company around that. You can really do this, and you don't need money. To do Unreal Engine, you need a not completely terrible computer. You should try and get a good computer for game development, but you don't necessarily need that good of one. And especially for Unity, you can use Unity on a not that great computer. So yeah, those are just some of the things that interest me. If you are building a project, I would highly consider doing that. Okay, let's see. Yeah, I'm gonna go to Jay from the Goonies here. Okay, honestly, I'm thinking of shifting my focus and applying to the jobs requiring Tableau, only in hopes of a full-time job, even though my passion lies in software development. I need to drink on that. Drink water, by the way. I genuinely don't drink alcohol whatsoever during a work day. That's just a terrible idea. You're shifting your focus on and applying to jobs requiring Tableau only in hopes of a full-time job, even though your passion lies in software development. I don't know if I can agree with that one, man. Like, if your passion lies in something that there is lots of jobs in, if your passion was ping pong and you're not that good at it, I probably would not recommend you do that. But if your passion is in software, where there's still lots of opportunities, especially free and accessible opportunities to get good at that, I don't know, I would probably try and stick that one out. But Tableau is fine if you're interested in that too. There's no problem with that. Not throwing any shade at my boy Tableau, but I think it's cool. Like, the name Pablo, like Tableau. Let's go with that. Let's say that's cool. I'm not sure about that one, man. Thank you. I'll just do some quick appreciation here. Anand, thank you. I'm doing some mad work. I agree. Some people call me a mad lad. I've heard that one. Thank you so much. Any detailed course on deep learning? Oh, I have a lot of deep learning. Let me just show you here in case you weren't already aware. In my playlist, I'm getting a lot of playlists because I've grouped all these LeetCode stuff together. I would go to. I should delete the deep learning and Python. Oh no, I'll keep that. It's just kind of. I just need to add more stuff to it. This one, Greg's path to become a data scientist in Python. So it says in the description here, complete pathway to become a data scientist and machine learning engineer. So all this stuff here, of course, I just have Python at the beginning because if you don't know Python, you're kind of screwed. Virtual environments can be helpful. And then I have all of this stuff, which is basically all of this stuff is building up to being able to do machine learning because it's like the NumPy stack, as they say, some data analysis projects. And then we go into all these sorts of machine learning fundamentals, building up linear regression, logistic regression, classification, training them better with train, test, and val sets, cross-validation, and then finally into deep learning, so like TensorFlow. This is also in TensorFlow, I believe. Most of this stuff is images. Feature engineering is huge. Forecasting with LSTMs, natural language processing. You can see that there's a lot of stuff here. Working all the way up to AutoML. If I were to get a little more up to date with this, I would say that I should have some generative AI stuff here, and I've been planning on that. I probably will do that. I would recommend those though. Okay, let me see here. Okay, so that sounds good to me. I think I'm going to stop there. Oh, good. We got one more member quick at the end there. So that's a quick reminder, guys. Genuinely, like, I will love you whether you donate $0 or lots of dollars. But seriously, it really, really, really helps a lot more than you think. Just to become a member and do the minimum option of $1 a month or more if you prefer that. It really, really helps. Thank you so much, Jose, for doing that. I really appreciate it. And I am going to be making a video about how to get the most out of this website to learn data structures and algorithms the best way using this site. The site, you could figure it out on your own, but there is some tips and tricks to really fast track that stuff. So if you want to be able to see that video, you are going to have to become a member. Any of the options of the membership is going to allow you to do that. But thank you so much, guys. it really means a lot. So, yeah, have a great day, guys. Okay, bye bye.